On the top floor of a luxury office complex in Memphis, Tennessee, are the headquarters of a man who has turned treasure hunting into a profession, Herbert Humphreys, Jr.
Good, this is Herbert Humphreys from Memphis. Your weather's okay? Okay, we'll be taking our
Behind his desk, he looks like any other businessman, but a glance at the walls of his office reveals just what makes Herbert Humphreys' heart beat faster: the mysteries and the gold of another time.
Well, I found my first gold coin when I was 10 years old on the beach in Nassau, Bahamas. And I guess I really got interested when my dad gave me Phil's treasure guide on my 16th birthday. And ever since then, I was absolutely hooked on it all through school, the Navy, military career, and business is all centered around the sea, water, diving, and history, and travel. So it's all tied in together. No one was more surprised than I was initially to actually find treasure. I had looked for it and dived on it and worked on boats and had boats. And then one day in 1986, I dove down and the hole we were blowing with our mailboxes was literally covered with gold. At that time, I decided to go into it as a serious business and a good investment opportunity.
Now Humphreys is heading east. His latest mission, to find the North Carolina, an American steamship which sank off the Atlantic coast in 1840 with millions in gold on board. There are no remaining pictures of the North Carolina, yet this image of a sister vessel reveals why she was described as one of the most luxurious steamboats of her time. On the night of July 25th, 1840, the North Carolina was commuting between Wilmington and Charleston, carrying a distinguished group of passengers, including 13 congressmen. All had their entire annual salary in gold. A sister ship, the Governor Dudley, was sailing in the opposite direction. Suddenly, for no apparent reason, it steered straight into the North Carolina and sliced it in half. No one knows why. But the North Carolina sank, and with it, a fortune in gold. On the trail of that treasure, Humphreys is flying into Myrtle Beach to rejoin his team on the Carolina coast. Humphreys has a fleet of 10 ships dispatched on different missions around the world. But the center of this expedition will be the beacon. As soon as Humphreys is on board, the beacon sets off. Now, with equipment on board and the team assembled, the mission is finally underway. The search is on.
Opening, we're about 10 minutes away. We're outbound over.
Over the next few hours, the beacon approaches the survey area. They have chosen this spot to launch their search by reconstructing the night of the catastrophe.
The North Carolina started from Wilmington in the afternoon of the 24th of July. She came down the river. Her sister ship, the Governor Dudley, was coming from Charleston, and they always passed during the evening. About 1 o'clock in the morning, the Governor Dudley and the North Carolina met.
If the calculations are right, then the wreck is lying here, in an area 10 by 25 miles. The team prepares the side sonar scanner, 110 pounds of sophisticated electronics. When assembled, it may look like a torpedo or a missile, but its purpose is to scan the sea floor.
We'll be able to see everything on the screen. We got 3 separate computers, and we'll get an image from this on each one of the computers, and each image looks a little bit different the way we have the computers configured.
As night falls, the beacon moves into position. The computers are prepared, and the sonar is lowered carefully into the sea. The preliminary exploration of the target area is about to begin. It's a tedious process of elimination over a region of 250 square miles. Even a few years ago, divers had to do this task themselves. But now they watch the scanner glide like a fish to the bottom. A fish packed full of technology, bringing back a vivid outline of the ocean bottom in 1,000-foot increments. The search area has been divided into a grid. The beacon will now sail up and down each line of the grid.
Okay, hey, Rennie, we want to start the vessel through the electronic gate at the beginning of line 1. We missed it on that first pass, so we'd like to make a big loop and go around and come in through line 1 again at the beginning.
Yeah. Go ahead and start heading for the beginning of line 1 there to our northeast.
Yeah, I'm doing that now.
When the scanner is properly aligned, not a single foot of seabed will be overlooked. All through the night and into the next morning, the beacon continues her course up and down the grid. There's a ripple of excitement on board. The sonar scanner has found something, the contours of a wreck. The side sonar scanner is drawn up from the depths. The forward motion of the beacon is brought to a halt as the team drops anchor. And the next item in the high-tech arsenal is prepared to be deployed. The ROV, or Remotely Operated Vehicle, is a $60,000 robot, a delicate instrument built for exploring areas for which man was not made. Equipped with a camera and a claw, it can bring back pictures and objects from 1,000 feet beneath the surface. The technology has changed everything, except one thing. The basic mystery remains the same. As the ROV glides down to the depths, no one can guess what it will encounter. "120 feet down, a shape becomes visible, a wreck lost on the ocean floor. But as it turns out, it's not the North Carolina.
This ship was built in Kiel, Germany, 1928. We don't know yet exactly when it sunk. It's not on any chart. It was not known to be by any of the fishermen or anything. It was a total new discovery out here. We don't know what was on board right now. We know it has a cargo, as Dan said, that appears to be gypsum and other things we don't know yet. We still have to explore that and see. Maybe he can get the ROV inside right now. We can discover something new, get a sample of it.
The claw closes on a piece of the past. The ROV may send back remarkable images, but when a tangible part of a lost world emerges into the light of day, it's still as exciting as ever. What is the claw holding? Porcelain? Ivory? This time, it may only be glass. Next time, who can say? But the beacon can't linger at this wreck. There's no time to waste. The North Carolina is waiting, and every minute is precious, literally. For Herbert Humphreys, each day aboard the beacon costs over $5,000. After days of searching, fortune seems to smile on Herbert Humphreys. The monitors show the outline of a new wreck. The team has high hopes for this one.
All we've been seeing in this area has been flat bottom with very little sand wave action or anything like that. And this is the first thing that's had any relief to it in about 3 days worth of searching. So it doesn't look like it's something natural. So hopefully it'll be something that we're looking for.
But before the team can send the ROV down to establish the identity of the wreck, a new problem appears on the horizon. The weather is changing. Dark, threatening clouds cover the sky. Will Humphrey's team be forced to give up just before reaching what may well be their goal? For all the high tech, it's still man versus the ocean.
And then we'll have to bring the sonar fish in and head into calmer waters and come back out as soon as this bad weather passes.
But life goes on.
No treasure is worth risking lives. No shipwreck is worth wrecking a ship. The seas have turned too rough. The beacon heads back to the safety of the harbor. When the weather clears, the beacon heads out once more. The wreck awaits them. Now they must determine if it is indeed the North Carolina. The hunt begins again. The huge hose is lowered to the ocean floor, and everything is simply sucked upwards to the surface. If this is a high-tech operation, nowhere is it more so than in their equipment, for they carry microphones, lights, cameras, fiber optic links, telecommunications gear. Working at a depth of 70 feet, they are connected to the beacon by a cluster of tubes and cables. Yet, for all the technology, problems remain. Conditions below are making it difficult to work on the wreck. The passing storm has churned up the ocean. In the murky depths, the divers are unable to see their way. They can only feel. The airlift indicates the way. Any lapse in concentration may mean danger. Nobody leaves the safety of the airlift. It is their lifeline to the surface. Faces appear and disappear, specter-like, swallowed in the darkness. Visibility is bad and diminishing. We are unable to continue filming and decide to surface. Above, the beacon lies in bright sunlight, another world. But the mood on board is tense. One of the divers is missing. His diving time ran out, and he still hasn't resurfaced. The men are nervous. In these conditions, it could be fatal to be separated from the team. Divers are searching everywhere for their missing colleague.
Did you find his weight belt? Found his weight belt? I don't know if it's his or not.
The crew stares out at the sea. All they can do is wait and hope. And then, there on the horizon, a small point bobbing on the surface. It's him.
Yeah. You want to get something in there? He's in trouble, though. Hold it! Hey, hold it! Hold it! Rusty! Hold it! We found him.
The diver comes in tired and battered by the waves, but at least he's alive. For an instant, each one of the team senses just how quickly a dive can get out of control. How did one of them get so wrapped up in his work that he lost all sense of time and direction? The strain is imprinted on the faces. The team has escaped with a scare. The find for which the diver risked his life is not gold, only a piece of wood.
Anytime you work with start a new project, we have a lot of people who haven't been on our team before, and everybody is just working to try and get the kinks out of the operation, work together as a team. It'll take a few weeks to get everything working smoothly.
Over the next days, the weather calms down, and so does the team. The divers are making good progress. Below the surface, diving conditions have changed dramatically. What was once a black hole has become a clear, almost transparent sea. Even 70 feet down at the wreck site, the visibility is ideal for the detail work which is just beginning. As the divers remove sand with the airlift, little by little, parts of the wreck are revealed. Each nail, each plank of wood is collected. Every artifact is a clue, a piece of the puzzle. And the hunt goes on. Only when the artifacts are assembled will the team know for sure if this is in fact the wreck of the ship they have been seeking, the North Carolina. The answers lie scattered on the ocean floor. The area on which Humphrey's team is working is as big as a football field, and spread out across this terrain are fragments buried for more than a century. Each foot brings surprises, new finds, and unexpected dead ends. But rising up from the seabed is no natural rock formation, but the ship's boiler. As the team investigates, the clues begin to emerge. The unique story of a shipwreck.
We found some spikes here off of the wreck. As you can see, these are all brass and bronze spikes from the correct time period. That's prior to 1840. The boiler is also copper. They stopped making copper boilers about 1840. And there's just a piece I grabbed out of there, which is a handle of a teacup. It's not the treasure we're looking for, but we've just gotten down to the main part of the wreck now. The ship's ribs are just appearing above the clay. There's lots of artifacts, lots of conglomerations. Our artifact assistants here are going through everything. It's dirty work, it's very time-consuming, but it'll get done.
Every new find that comes up confirms their suspicions. 70 feet below the beacon lies not just a treasure chest full of dollars, but also a piece of American history.
Exactly. Tell them it's an old piece of eight. It's not, probably not, but it could be.
The wreck is the North Carolina.
We have a few personal items like this little mustache comb, you see, which obviously was in like a folding knife. There was a sheet to it, which has gone. It's plated silver on brass. This is the kind of things which shows us that we are on the right spot, where the passengers were, the cabins or the baggage room.
Well, it's not a dream anymore. It's right down there. All we have to do is go down and get it. We're right over it. We know what we're on, so it's not a dream anymore. A lot of hard work to find it and salvage it and bring it up. Other than that, it's here.
You had on board 13 congressmen who had come from a long session of Parliament of the Congress, I should say, in Washington, and they had just all been paid in gold. And we know that one lost $15,000 of the time, another $2,000, another $4,000, and then there was that guy who lost more than everyone else together. So it boils down really to about $70,000 at the time.
As the divers work below, the crew on board the Beacon can only wait. Some of them, like René Charette, have brought work to keep them busy. In an electrolysis bath, he places a small part of another treasure found by Humphrey's team, a much older treasure. René is cleaning silver coins discovered on the Spanish galleon Maravillas, sunk in the 17th century, loaded with gold, silver, and emeralds. Humphreys salvaged much of her cargo, achieving multi-million-dollar prices at Christie's. Humphrey's men have salvaged so many coins from the wreck of the Maravillas that René will not be out of work for years. After the electrolysis, the coins are given a new polish in a vibrating bath. But this is just killing time until the treasure comes up from the wreck below. And finally, as the men gather round, they are rewarded, not just with wood and nails, but the glimmerings of the first gold from the North Carolina.
Well, I've looked up in the coin book. It's in the catalog here. I believe it's catalog number 6.
Okay.
It should be in the coin packet, and
Okay.
that vintage of coin is worth as much as $57,000 for a single.
For what?
For a single
Fantastic.
$2.50 coin.
It's an auspicious beginning. Now they have to test the market. What kind of prices will the first gold pieces bring? Humphreys and his aides have flown into Los Angeles to put 18 coins up for auction. After all, the ongoing search has to be financed. The bottom line question, will people buy?
$26.23.
$700.
700 now, 7 1/4 now, 7 1/2. 7 1/2 now, 800 here, 8 1/2, 900, 9 1/2, 1,000. 1,050, 1,100, 11 1/2, 12, 12 1/2, 13, 13 1/2, 14, 1,400 now.
Humphreys is on a roll. Coin collectors don't attend auctions out of curiosity. When they spot pieces in perfect condition, they're ready to buy.
18, 19 here, now 2,000, now 21. 21 here, now 22.
This evening, Humphreys' 18 coins of differing value will bring in a solid total of $130,000. For the team, this night is more than a success. It's a guarantee the expedition can go on. As one diving season ends and the next begins, the work continues. From the work of the past year, the crew knows the exact location of the North Carolina. It is now their task to search the wreck area foot by foot.
The concentration of coins last year was in this area.
Right about here.
And then earlier this year, we were in this area and we find the coins there.
Yeah.
And it appears that the main section of the ship might be in this area.
Yeah, that's a good bet. Yeah.
It's the moment every treasure hunter loves, the beginning of the search, when all things are possible. Over the next hours, they'll experience it all. An emotional roller coaster, hope, disappointment, possibility, the fun of following a trail, and the knowledge that under the next rock may be almost anything. Futuristic mini-jets may propel them across this landscape, but they are driven by the oldest of passions, the excitement of the treasure hunt. Everything focuses on the signal sent by the detector. It's a moment of total concentration as the beeping gets shorter, quicker, louder. It means just one thing: the thrill of discovery. Just beneath the sand, gold coins. a piece of the treasure. Elsewhere on the wreck site, the search continues. The 3 coins are the entire find for the day. Yet, what a result.
There could be anywhere between 2,000 and 6,000 more coins like this. One coin last year of this size in the auction brought $26,000. Any one of these coins could be equally as valuable.
So far, they have brought up over $500,000 in gold. Yet much more remains to be found. The hunt will continue over the next several years until the North Carolina has yielded up all her treasure.